Hi, this is Yvonne Smith here. Welcome back. This is a fresh new week, and this month what we've been talking about is love. We've been talking about love because February is a time that everybody talks about Valentine's Day and how much they love this one and love that one. And what we've been talking about is how much our Father God loves us. And so what I want to do is take a breakdown from, it's actually Gary Chapman's book of the 5 love languages. And the reason why I'm choosing to use this book is first and foremost because he is a Christian. Secondly, because as married couples, as single people, as parents, you have to understand the love language of the people that are around you. And so this here is the book that we are going to go from. And actually I'm going to take a little bit from the 5 love languages for teenagers as well. Because I think as parents, we do not understand that we have to express these love languages to our kids as well. So, the 5 love languages, and I'm going to break these down throughout the week. The first is words of affirmation. Second is quality time. The third is receiving gifts. The fourth is acts of service. And the fifth is physical touch. And you might be thinking, well, I'm this, I'm that. Well, what I want you to do is by the end of this week, be able to say, you know what? I'm this, my husband is this. And typically what I have found is that you will express your love language because you're wanting that person to give you that love language. So if your love language is acts of service, you will begin to serve your mate or your children, and you're thinking that they're going to give you service in return. But if their love language is words of affirmation, that it's going to fall on deaf ears. And so if we can learn to understand each other's love languages, now I'm not saying this is an all in all. Gary Chapman is not God. So I'm not saying that, but I do want to break this down because I have found this to be so true in couples that I've met, in teenagers, in children. And so how much more successful will our marriages and our families be and our relationships in general if we know what the other person's love language is so that we can express their love language instead of ours. And so I know myself, being married for 31 years, you think, okay, I grew up in a marriage, in a family where I didn't see love expressed. I didn't see a couple who actually grew together. I saw a couple who grew apart. And my husband did not have parents that grew together. And so what I had to look at and my husband had to look at was not positive. And so we had to truly, once we came to know God, look to Him to be the source of our love language. And He needed to express to us how we needed to express love to one another. And so, who better than love Himself? 1 John 4:8 says God is love. And so if God is love, then who better to go to? And so one of my love languages is words of affirmation. Well, you can give flattery, and flattery is different. And you know when you're being flattered. Flattery is actually not spoken of highly in the Bible. That is basically just flowering somebody up. But words of affirmation is when you are building a person up with your words. And you are saying, what you did there was amazing. You're not pointing out the negative things that happened in the whole circumstances, but you're finding possibly the one good thing that happened, and you're saying, that was awesome what you did there. So it could be that your husband's love language is words of affirmation. I have found that a lot of men's love language is words of affirmation, and they want their wife to build them up. And so what you would need to say is something like, honey, the way that you took care of the kids today, the way that you provide for our household, the way that you ministered to that man at church today, that was amazing. And I love you so much for the man that you are. And just build that man up. No, this is not glorifying the man. This is building him up, because this is the language that he understands. And as a woman, you want to have a man that understands your love language, but if you're not understanding his, it's like being in a house with somebody that speaks Russian and somebody that speaks Chinese. And if they do not understand each other's languages, there is no communication that takes place. And communication, to me, is the key to any positive relationship. And so you have to understand, like I said, first and foremost, your relationship with your spouse, your relationship with your children, and your relationship with those that are around you. And that will cause such a positive influence in every other area. And I want to also add our love language with God, because we love him because he first loved us. And so we are able to love him because he is just showering us with love. And you better understand that our Father understands our love language. And that's what I love about him. He's so intimate with each one of us, and he understands us intricately. He's not saying, oh, I just love everybody the same. No, he loves us all equally. But he loves us the way that will receive his love. And so if you are somebody who receives his love softly, that's the way he is. If you're somebody that needs a harder hand, not that he wants to be that, he knows that that's how you'll hear him. So his love language to you is the way that you'll receive it. But just know that he does love you. He loves you more than I can express in words today, and more than it will take all of eternity for us to understand the love that our Father has for us. And he is constantly affirming us and building us up and telling us that we're precious, that we're gifts, that we are royalty. How can you not run to a Father like that? Know that we are so here for you. We love you. And we are praying for you. And we are excited to hear from you. We want to hear your prayer requests, your comments, your concerns. And this week, actually starting today, hopefully you jumped on. If you didn't, go back and watch the podcast on pt.1, VineLife Radio. We're actually going to be talking about the differences between men and women and the way that we express our love towards one another. Tune in. Let's stay connected to each other and to the vine.